In this episode, we're gonna discuss what options do we have for your stock Miata and why you potentially would want to swap your alternator. So, in first place, let's decide why you should swap it. So, the potential issues are that it's not charging your car properly, your battery. And the second one, maybe you just want to install some music in your car. Basically, you need more watts. So if your alternator will not produce enough power or watts, your battery will discharge. So, but maybe most likely the first issue is most common one. Your alternator is pretty old or something like that, and it is not charging your battery. So how to notice that? For example, when you drive at night, you can see that your headlights are not as bright as they are. For example, when you turn your turn signal, the brightness changes, or when you push your stop pedal, the brightness of headlights changes, and so on. And also the other way to check is your alternator is, for example, to grab your voltage meter and measure your voltage at the battery in the trunk, and then start your car and measure the voltage again. If it doesn't change, it potentially means that your alternator is not charging your battery. So the healthy alternator should produce something around 14 volts. The bad one would produce less or even more, for example 15 volts or 15.6 or something like that. But if your car is like idling, it doesn't potentially mean if you have like 13.3 volts or something. It might be also possible that your alternator is healthy. You can just add some RPMs and see if the voltage goes to 14 or something like that. But if your alternator is not working, the voltage on the battery will not change at all. And when you will turn on your headlights or some accessory or rev your engine to higher RPMs, you could potentially see that the voltage drops. So my reason was this one, that alternator was not charging my battery and I was not able to drive my car because the engine was not kinda running well or even stopped working, and I had to call my friends for help and stuff like that. So we can swap alternator for like OEM one that I will suggest you to do so, or you can also, the other way is to install an RX7 alternator. I chose the second road to install the RX7 alternator, but I had issues with it. As you could see on the video, the RX7 stock alternator has different pulley type. My MX5 Miata 1990 has V-belt shaped belt, and the RX7 alternator has different pulley type. And my first idea was, okay, if they are different, maybe anyway the belt will last and I can drive for some time with my V-belt shaped belt. But when I started to drive my car, the interior was full of smoke and it was hard to breathe and so on. Basically, my V-belt destroyed, was damaged, and so on. So it's very bad idea. So I decided that I have no other way, and I will have to swap this new pulley type to V-belt type, basically like the stock alternator had this pulley type. But if you have newer MX5, like maybe 1994 or higher, you potentially would not have such issues because only very early models of this car MX5 had these V-belt shaped pulleys and so on. And the other problem is that I can't swap all the pulleys on the car because I have like very early model and it's called like short nose engine, and there are no aftermarket pulleys for this, let's say, new type belt. So for me there is no other option than using like the stock V belt, so I had to swap my alternator pulley. And yeah, while I was trying to swap it, I disassembled the RX7 alternator because I had no proper instruments to take off the pulley. So basically to swap the pulley you will have to have an impact gun, and with an impact gun you can hold the alternator pulley with your hand and impact gun will do the rest of the job. Yeah, the other life hacks did not work for me, like putting something inside, to prevent the alternator from spinning. Basically, like putting screwdriver inside, I damaged my stock OEM alternator and I didn't want to damage my aftermarket one, so this is why I disassembled it, and I was not able to assemble it back and I damaged it. You could see all this on the video that basically you can see on the video all this. Yeah, so I would say that it's very bad idea to disassemble alternator. Only do this if you are sure what you are doing. So I damaged my RX7 alternator and sent it for a repair. And while it was in the repair shop, I decided to buy like some random generic alternator aftermarket one. But also I had issues with it because it had different shape. The battery plus was in different place and stuff like that. So the main problem with it was that the battery plus was touching the body of the car, but as you know, the body of the car is ground or minus, and it means that when you like plug in your battery, your wires will melt. This is why I had to grind this alternator battery plus. But in the end, when I connected it and tried to start and so on, I was not lucky. It did not generate any power. So it was not usable, and I just in the end used its pulley on the RX7 pulley. Yeah, in the end I got swapped or installed on the RX7 when the proper pulley. I had also like to find the proper belt length. In my case it was something around 9.25 millimeters long on the outer side. And yeah, currently it kinda charged my car, but currently I have an issue. The guy who swapped the pulley, he did not install the pulley right, and the bolt that was kinda holding the pulley in place is no longer in place. And I have to fix my alternator again by my own. So yeah, that's basically it. So if you are still listening, my suggestions are, yeah, you can use RX7 Alternator, but you will have to do some work to install it because it's not very like simple bolt-on installation. Yeah.